You are tuned to the Indraprasth channel of Akashvani. In our English Talks Chunk tonight, on the occasion of birth anniversary of freedom fighter Aruna Asif Ali, Dr. Guntasha Kaur Tulasi is going to shed light on the life trajectory of the freedom fighter.
Aruna Asif Ali, years 1909 to 96, the grand old lady of Indian independence, has often been identified as being a liberal and a secular thinker, a quintessential political activist, a reformer and a consistently engaged transformer who associated herself with people's causes in the post-1947 context. Her list of achievements, accolades, and qualities of personality have indeed been a testimony to the most valued and critical aspects of Indian culture and its political history. In an article dated March 21, 2024, published in The Wire, TCA Raghavan observes that the marriage between Aruna, born as Aruna Ganguly in 1909 in a Bengali Brahmo family, and Asif Ali, a Muslim barrister, whom she fell in love with after having left her home to make a living as a teacher, was not without hurdles. In one of her own recollections, she pointed to the sharp differences between her anglicized family background and conservatism of conventions in the Muslim family into which she was married. However, a gradual intellectual and social understanding of the immediate context kept them together, with both influencing each other strongly. Relationship with Asif Ali played a major role in ensuring that Aruna joined the Indian National Congress and became one of its most pivotal members. Her nationalistic contribution comprised of an imperative understanding of critical dissent and importance of participation in public protests. Proudly so, Asif Ali's pivotal role in the 1930s to 40s agitation was incentivized through a contribution of a host of women thinkers, philosophers, and leaders. From Sarojini Naidu's services as the first president of the Indian National Congress in the year 1925 to Annie Besant's call for the Home Rule League and Kasturba Gandhi's notable work for the downtrodden women in the Champaran district of Bihar, she was influenced by a progressive collective of women voices who defined the distinctiveness of nationalistic feminist consciousness in India in the early 20th century. Aruna Ali's memorable participation in the Salt Satyagraha of 1931 and courageous protest to bring about an improvement in the condition of inmates of Tihar jail in the year 1932 created an environment of natural leadership which would also reflect through her trailblazing participation in the Quit India movement of 1942. Dr. Harsh Chandar has commented upon feminine rage unleashed during the Quit India movement, comprising of enthusiastic participation in protests, picketing, organization of camps, and training in civic duties and first aid. What became Aruna's most notable achievement and possibly the most defining visual memory in relation to the 1942 movement was the unfurling of the Congress flag at Gowalia Tank Maidan, marking a beginning to the movement. She stood the ground in the face of recurrent police firing and eventually conducted a major part of the movement from the underground, during the time of which she also edited the journal Inqilab. It was her experience in the underground which acquainted her with the use of radio, pamphlets, and magazines to continue the struggle. Again, it was during this time that she met luminaries like J.P. Narayan, Achyut Patwardhan, and Ram Manohar Lohia, who did set the foundation of her contact with socialism. When underground, she vastly toured across Calcutta, Bombay, and Delhi. And when she emerged from the underground, she was elected the president of the Delhi Pradesh Congress Committee in 1947. A noteworthy and much celebrated aspect of this phase was also Mahatma Gandhi's call in the year 1946, asking Aruna to come out in the open. He especially praised her for her grit, determination, and leadership qualities, and did play a major role in Aruna getting a permanent place in history as being one of the most significant torchbearers of the Quit India movement. This period also became formative in ensuring a pivotal interest which Aruna took in associating herself with numerous causes, from women's education to necessity of empowering vast sections of the marginalized in the face of scathing poverty on the immediate eve of India's independence, and access to her excerpts from the weekly Janta, published as a part of the series titled Words of Freedom by Penguin Books, points to her complex social and political understanding and what formulated the basis to her socialist zeal in the post-1947 context. In a rather keenly observant and individualistically distinctive voice, she's insisted on the importance of empowering Mazdoors, Kisans, and workers from the base level, and also comprehending the social value of education. In one of the other excerpts, she displays an admiration for the role of Azad Hind Fauj in the 1940s context. One of her strongest reflections on her own times and why socialism would work for the growth and development of a nascently independent India, and I quote her here, "The establishment of a socialist society wherein man will live on equal terms with his fellow men is our only objective." This explains her critical association with the Communist Party of India in the post-1947 context. After independence, Aruna Asif Ali continued to be a part of people's movements, reform-oriented causes, and writing up till her death in the year 1996. Her consistent efforts led to the formulation of National Federation of Indian Women, a wing within the CPI party. She also became Delhi's first mayor in the year 1958 and played a critical role in the unleashing of significant reforms. However, after her disassociation with the CPI, she continued to be apolitical for the rest of her life. She carried forth her lifelong engagement with writing and publishing work in the next 2 decades after having founded significant newspapers and journals. Additionally, she has also been a recipient of the highest honors in the country, mainly including the Padma Vibhushan in the year 1992 and the posthumous granting of Bharat Ratna in the year 1997. She's been, indeed, a rare case of coming together of grace, honor, intellect, and courage, and so pivotal in imbibing a unique feminist consciousness to the history of independence movement in the country and carrying forth an equally significant amount of meaningful work in India in its post-1947 context. It has indeed been an honor to remember her and invoke what has become a forgotten chapter of feminist nationalist consciousness in India's recent history.
Freedom fighter Aruna Asif Ali and her life. You just heard a talk on the topic by Dr. Guntasha Kaur Tulsi. This broadcast came to you over Indraprasth channel of Akashvani, Delhi. Please stand by for our next announcement that follows shortly.